Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. It's Thursday, December 30th, 2021. Welcome to my weekly Facebook Live. My name's Jennifer Cotton, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Midlothian, Texas. And that means I teach people how to make greeting cards, scrapbook pages, gift packaging, and more with stamps, ink, paper, and lots of cool tools. Um, I have been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 20 years now. This is my full-time job. Hey, Mary Ann, good morning. Hey, Mary Ellen in Montana, chilly Montana. Hey, Terry, good morning. Good to see you. Hey, Cindy. So I've been doing this for 20 years, full-time job. And so I come on each week, normally on Thursdays at 9 a.m. Central Time, like right now, and make cards for you, usually. And that's what I'm doing today. I will be making 3 cards with the Blessings of Home bundle. This is a brand new bundle that comes out in our January to June mini catalog, January 4th. So I'll tell you all about that when I start demonstrating. But I have lots of stuff to share before that point today. So I'm going to jump in. Hey, Jewel, you are welcome. I'm glad you received your catalogs. Good morning. Hey, Lori. Hey, Cindy. Thanks for sharing, Cindy. And I thought I missed someone else. I'm scrolling back. Maybe not. Hey, Sandy. Happy New Year. Yes. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve, and then Saturday is New Year's. So happy New Year's, everybody. Hope you have great holidays. Hey, Kelly in Lubbock, Texas. Nice to see you. So since this is my full-time job, just watching this video helps me. So thank you very much. But also, if you will make a comment, that will help my business. So I will enter you to win the 3 cards I'm going to make today. And then if you share the video, like Pat, and I think someone else just said they shared it, comment that you share, and that means you actually click the button on Facebook that says share, and then you put the video somewhere else on your page, in a group, wherever you choose. And that helps my business, of course, for exposure. So comment that you shared, since Facebook keeps that private, and that will get you another entry to win these cards. Hey, Martha, thanks for sharing. Who else did I see here? Now I've like forgotten who I said hi to. So hey, Pat. Hey, Nancy. Hey, Stacy. Good morning. And Shannon. Happy New Year's Eve. Very true. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my heater here. It's already hot. It's not cold here today in Texas. It is going to be warm, but it was just a little chilly this morning. Can y'all hear my light? It's like sizzling behind there. Thank you guys for sharing, Mary Ellen. Hey, Dana. Thanks for sharing, Rhonda. And good morning, Robin. Hello, Sunshine. Judy in Kentucky. Pat. Yay. All right, so I do have a lot to get to. So I do this as a full-time job. I offer lots of events that anyone can take all over the United States. They're all offered to go. Some are also offered in person. This month in January, I have classes coming up. Let me do a little screen real quick. So I have not decided all of the product I'm using on these classes yet, but I have some. So anyway, I'll tell you. But the 4 classes that happen every single month are card class, scrapbook class, Stamp-A-Stack, and sampler. And I think I still forgot to edit this document. But anyway, the in-person are January 15th for all 4 of those. We do social distance. We limit the number of people. You have to wear a mask, all that stuff. But you can attend in person January 15th. Or if you take it to go, it will be mailed January 17th or ready for you to pick up whenever after that date. You need to register for card and scrapbook by January 13th, and then register for sampler and Stamp-A-Stack by January 9th. Or join the clubs, that should say, by January 9th as well. So I'll tell you more about those in a sec. What I really want you to see here is that all of these, any event I tell you about, because I sometimes forget to say this when I'm talking about a certain event, it's going to include a PDF tutorial, everything cut, die cut, punched, embossed, possible. The only thing you cut is possible kit components, like a Memories of More or designer paper, if you get like a full or half a pack. And then Most of my events are offered in the US, and most are offered PDF tutorial only. So any questions, just let me know. So card and scrapbook class, I still have to pick what products I'm using. I'm just really busy right now, but that will go out by my January 1st email newsletter. That's Saturday, so I got to work on that today and tomorrow. But anyway, and then RSVP links for all of these will come out by then as well. So make sure you join my email news list to get updated on that stuff. And then, but Sampler is going to be Valentine themed like usual in January. So we'll be using the Sweet Conversations bundle on page 9 of the awesome new mini catalog. And I didn't pull that product, but it's Valentine theme, of course. So it will be from this catalog on page 9 if you have that already. And Valentine themed, of course. So that class is $28. It includes $20 in merchandise, and you can take it anywhere in the US in person to go. Plus, there's an option to check out the supplies from me if you live local and stamp at home. And then it's a sampler. So let me show you last month's sampler. We did a winter sampler, so cute. Of course, this one is sold out. Some people are still stamping this at home with my supplies, but as far as purchasing a new kit, it's sold out. We got as much of this designer paper as we could. But that was last month. So a sampler is a 12 by 12 piece of art that you frame. Let me move that, put it in a bad spot. Kind of like this one here. Here's a framed art one from Halloween. And you frame it in a 12 by 12. I like a big shadow box with a nice shadow so I can 3D stuff. I get those from Walmart. I have the link to that on my blog. And so it makes a great gift. You can decorate your own home with it, switch it out every month. You don't need 12 frames to do it every month. You need one frame and you switch the designs out. Host gifts, etc. Anyway, that's that class. And then Stamp-A-Stack, I'm actually making 3 of the 4 Stamp-A-Stack cards today on this video. So this class is, this month we'll be using Blessings of Home bundle, which is in the new catalog, like I said. It is, the class is 12 cards, so there's 4 designs. You make 3 of each. 12 cards, $30. It includes 20 in merchandise. Now, Sampler and Stamp-A-Stack are also a club you can join, so you can join the club now. The deadline is the 9th, just like the registration deadline is January 9th. So you can join the club by January 9th of either of those, and it's the same exact price. The only difference, 2 things. You cancel anytime, so no problem. And you can, after 6 months consecutively of being in club, you will receive $25 in free merchandise of your choice from me. So let me go back and catch up here. Hey, Judy. Hey, Pat. I think I said hi to you guys. Cindy, good morning. Stacy, thanks for sharing. Lori, good morning to you. And she says good morning to all. Hey, Nora. Hey, Kathy. Jean in North Dakota. And Liz, you are welcome for the Happy Mail. All right. Welcome, everybody. And thank you guys for whoever shared and all that stuff. Sometimes I don't actually see comments when they happen, when I'm live, and then they show up later. So if I missed you, that's why. Okay. All right. Sneak peek of the new catalog kickoff. So first of all, this is the product we'll be using in this class. So you can take this at home or in person here in DeSoto, Texas is where my in-person events are. But you can see here we'll be using the Crane of Fortune, the Slim Sayings, the Happy Hedgehogs, and the Catching Butterflies. And then you can see the designer paper there and the pearls. I forgot what they're called, but whatever those embellishments are. And the pearl paper. Also forgot the name. Anyway, but let me give you an actual sneak peek of these projects. You're going to make 8 projects. You're going to get product with your fee. You're going to get a PDF tutorial. Everything will be cut, die cut, punched, embossed, possible. 8 cute cards, including 2 slimline cards with matching envelopes. Again, we'll die cut. For example, we Landa and maybe Karen. We will die cut, and maybe Shirley as well. Shirley's helping for sure with sampler, Stamp-A-Stack, card, scrapbook this month. So thank you guys very much. Anyway, we'll die cut your rainbow for you. In other words, we'll punch these little things that are punched out here. We're going to die cut your slim cards. We do a lot of work for you. Then you just stamp and assemble either in person or at home. So that is the kickoff. You need to register for that. It's the Celebration of Mini Catalog Kickoff by January 2nd, this Sunday. So very little time left to register for this event. There are 4 stamping demonstrations, which I am probably going to stream on Facebook to share with the to-go people, or they'll just be recorded out and I will send you the video. I'm still deciding how to handle it because of the COVID stuff, how we're going to do it in person to keep our social distance and all that. Anyway, but there's 4 stamping demonstrations, 8 projects, product with your fee, door prize entry, optional card swap. There's a lot of cool stuff. So sign up by Sunday, January 2nd for that. Any questions on any of these, just let me know, of course. And then next up is just talking about retreats. Again, we have in-person retreats in May and August 2022 that have space available. They are in Temple, Texas, and anyone can attend May 12th through 15th or August 11th through 14th. You get 10 projects, a $50 goodie bag, all your meals, a bed to sleep in, your own table. You can use April and Mai's product that we bring to make your own projects, optional massage. It's awesome. It's a great weekend. So any questions on that, let me know. You should join our Simply Spoiled Retreats Facebook group to get all the information and get it first there. Okay, next up is the designer paper share. We're coming up on the deadline for this as well. I do have a little graphic here with just the info. So there are 8 new designer papers, 3 new specialty papers in our share, which is just where you get at least one of each sheet of the new papers. That's why it's called a share. We're sharing the paper, splitting up the cost. You're going to get 34 sheets of 6x12, 24 sheets of 6x6, 7 new ribbons if you add on the ribbon share, which is 17.5 yards, 2.5 yards of each new ribbon. And then additionally, you can register for the party, so that's optional. But the party is going to include 8 make and takes, video instruction on Facebook Live, on recorded. They will be recorded after we go live, so you can watch them anytime. Video instruction for every single card, PDF tutorial for every single card, a gift, door prize entries, a Facebook party, and 2 bonus videos with additional projects. So you need to register for the share or the party or both, any of these, by January 12th. The recorded party will be January 22nd. You do not have to be present to participate. So I have all 8 cards here. Half are designed by me, half by Alejandra. She's, of course, in my team. You're going to make 8 gorgeous cards. You're going to love them. You will use your designer paper from the share. So just like always, we'll cut, die cut, punch. You'll cut your designer paper. And then you'll use your ribbon from the ribbon share. So you can just substitute if you don't add on the ribbon share. But 8 gorgeous cards, all the stuff I said. Now, again, if you just want the designer paper or just want the ribbon, you can register for only that. You need to do it by January. Where's my deadline? Oh, I have the flyer here. I know it was on the screen, but I already forgot. January 12th. However, we are recommending that you register by January 3rd because we will order on January 4th when the catalog goes live for everyone who's registered to avoid those back orders. So if you wait and register, if anything's on back order, yours will come later on the back ordered portion. So anyway, hey Shannon Sharon, can't read today, in Oregon. Hello, Carol, thanks for sharing. Hey Candy, good to see you. Carol, Happy New Year. Hey Stella, good to see you. Jean, thanks for sharing. Martha, good morning. Hey Jackie, hey Pat. See who else I'm missing here. I think I caught up. So glad you guys could be here today. Figure out where I'm piling all this stuff because later I'm going to need it and I'm going to be missing it and looking all over the place. Okay, so next up, coming soon, a stamp camp for spring that you'll be able to take in Canada or the US. So mark your calendars. The event is February 26th on Facebook. You do not have to be present. Registration and more details on that will be coming soon. And then the retreat in a box, the next retreat in a box, the regular one, will be in March. So we'll get out our info by February and it will be using flowering fields. So get ready for that. But the ultimate retreat is the cruise, mega cruise retreat in a box. So here is a picture of what you're getting in your goodie bag and the stamps and dies that we're using. You do not receive the stamps and dies in your goodie bag, except for the Friendly Hello stamp set, but you get everything else you see. Embellishments, designer paper, ephemera kits, ribbon. You get $150 before tax and shipping worth of merchandise. Then you get, I'm going to point my camera down right here. You get 6 classes. This class is $205. You're getting well over that in value because you get $150 in merchandise, which would cost you about $178 with tax and shipping. You get, these are different cards I want to show y'all. You get 6 classes, classes of projects with PDF tutorials, everything cut, die cut, punched possible. You get gifts valued at really over $40. You get a bag. You get a lot. All right. So this is a sneak peek of the retreat, but today is the deadline to register. Today. So if you need that link, email me, Facebook message me, text me, whatever you need to do. So this is, I'm making space here on my table. This is our sampler class. So you're going to make 2 samplers. Yes, one is Valentine, but it's different than my Valentine. You get a full album. Now mine is decorated for the cruise. Yours will be decorated for generic scrapbook. And don't worry, it's not like cruise themed. If you take the words sail away and take away the boat, you just have a generic scrapbook, which we're going to provide you, I think it's a 1.5 pages worth of words you can put in your album. I have some of mine here. I haven't die cut all mine out yet. And some of these are for the cruise as well. Happy day. Yeah, I think the other ones are cruise right now. But anyway, you can see that it's generic, but it's super cute. And it's all designed for you. You will cut your designer paper, but everything else will be embossed, cut, ready for you to stamp, die cut, and assemble or hand cut out. So that's a full album. That's just one of your projects. 10 cards. Super cute, if I do say so myself. So cute. 10 of them with matching envelopes. A mini album that's super, my notes to myself there. A Valentine class with cards and treats. You're going to get candy with your class. You can eat it or give it away. I feel like my video is sketchy right now. This super cute treat holder. Look at this card. Oh my gosh. April designed half of these, by the way. April McCrite. Scrapbook pages. So cute. Again, in my opinion, these are so cute. We are going to die cut for you. You're just going to stamp and assemble. And then fun fold cards. This one, I haven't opened it yet because April made it, but it's tied shut. I don't want to ruin her bow right now. But look, it's going to pop up. You're going to get all this stuff cut, die cut, scored, ready to stamp and assemble. Everything I said for only $205. It's an incredible value. But today's the deadline to sign up for that. Oh my gosh, I'm a hot mess here. I'm going to put these cards that customers have sent me here so I can not have a blank screen for a second while I move this. So today's your last chance to get in on that retreat. Now you can, it's a mega cruise retreat. You can do tutorials only for $35. Or you get the tutorials when you take the class, of course. So I strongly recommend that one. We're getting ready to finish designing our gifts, you know, how we're packaging them and all that. We already know what we're giving you, and we're just really excited about it. So check it out. Any questions, let me know. Angel, Happy New Year to you. Hey, France in Vermont. Sharon in Oregon. Carol, thanks for sharing. Let's see. Terry, what's the theme for Scrapbook Club this month? I don't know yet, Terry. One is page 2 of our New Year's pages, and the other ones will come out by January 1st. I've just been, by the way, so you saw the sneak peek of the share, the cruise, and the kickoff. That's literally all I've been doing since Sunday. So that's why I don't know the theme yet. I just haven't had time to sit down, open the book. Oh, and the Stampin' Stack, which I'm doing today. So that's the reason, Terry, but it's coming out soon. I just literally have to sit down and think about it. It might be Valentine. I have to look at my previous year calendars and make sure I remember what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so any questions about that ultimate retreat, let me know. We are having a real cruise in January if it doesn't get canceled, where people will make those projects in person. And so the next cruise that you can come on that's a crafting cruise like that is next January 2023 at the end of the month. And you can register for that now. Okay, these are some of the recent Christmas cards I received. This one is so sweet from, I'm going to blank out, June Leyendecker. I don't know if I'm saying your last name right, June. But she sent me this super cute note with some family info and then a thank you for your creativity and imagination. You inspired me and so many others. Thank you so much, June. But she sent gifts inside. These are scoreboard markers, which of course I do have the Stampin' Up! Scoreboard. So thank you, June. And a little keychain. Look, or it can be a scissor charm, actually. But I could use it as a keychain. And this cute card with a bookmark. So thank you, June. And then a Christmas card from Alice with her update for the year. Thank you, Alice, so much. And then more Christmas cards. So this is from Tracy Myers. Thank you, Tracy. Look at that 3D-ness of it. So cute. She makes really detailed cards. This one is from Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, thank you. I need to learn thank you in sign language. I'm sure that's a simple... I'm sure I've seen it before too. Hannah, thank you so much for this one. I love that stamp set so much. Carrie, thank you so much for this one. I know, right, Carol? They are great. This one, Lisa did the thing where we just write a note so that the card can be reused, but look how creative this card is. But she just wrote it on a sticky note. Thank you, Lisa. And I don't want to show addresses accidentally. This one from Marilyn, team member for years and years and a customer before that. And then I wanted to show another one that I got in the mail in a clear envelope, because y'all know I always like to promote our clear envelopes. Isn't this card gorgeous? That's from Lori. And but you can see she stuck my address on a sticker on the outside, postage stamp, and then her return address. And then the card came in the mail like that. So pretty. Okay, so thank you guys for the cards. So many good cards I received this year. Hopefully, if you sent me a card, I mailed you a card, but I don't know. I do not know if I got everybody. I tried. I sent almost 300 Christmas cards this year. So, Merry Christmas. And one got returned to me already, you know, with the wrong address, basically. So hopefully I'm not messing up too many. Things like that. I wanted to show you the sneak peek of my team meeting make and takes. So every month, if you're on my team, you have the option to take, actually I want to put something else next, to take the team make and takes. They're only $7 or $11 with shipping. They're totally optional. You don't have to take it. And that's what they are this month. Oh, by the way, these little cards fit into these treat boxes that, like, we're making one of these in the cruise as well. But the cards fit in there, so that's pretty cute. You can put candy or cards inside. Anyway, join my team. There's no pressure. There's no obligation if you join the team, but then you get the advantage of all of those perks from me and Stampin' Up, like a discount, etc. We have a special coming up in January 4th through the end of February. That during celebration, you will get to pick 2 extra free stamp sets of your choice, not from Celebration, of course, because you have to purchase to get those, including demonstrators have to do that too. Not this one either. I'm mixed up. From these 2 catalogs, you can pick any 2 stamp sets you want, free, with the starter kit, which is only $99 plus tax, free shipping. Pick $125 in merchandise. It's always that price. You can buy it right now and get new stuff. Okay, any questions, let me know. I actually, let me look at these notes here. I want to show you on the screen real quick. I'll do a graphic to remind you about Paper Pumpkin. If you love Valentine, or you need Valentines, or whatever your reason is, you want to subscribe to our monthly craft kits in the mail, or purchase yours by January 10th. It's called Kisses and Hugs. There is a video with a sneak peek from Stampin' Up that I have posted a link to in this video description. It'll be on YouTube and Facebook. I forgot to make my YouTube promotion earlier, but if you're watching this on YouTube, you qualify for the entries too. Just comment, share, comment that you shared, and subscribe also on YouTube, and that'll get you entered. But anyway, Paper Pumpkin, so let me go back to my desktop here, is a box that comes in the mail like this. It's a surprise. The sneak peeks are all we get. We never fully see what's going to be in it, like hardly ever, maybe twice ever. But this is last month's. It is adorable, I must say. I do have one extra if anyone needs one. It's called Lots of Pun. This is the December one. You get instructions, which are full color and include a ruler. You get your ink, so anyone can do this, new stampers or not. You get the full stamp set. This is a huge stamp set in this one, actually. It's bigger than normal. And it's so cute. Like, you tell the best yolks. Have an excellent day. This was all about puns, obviously. So we have an egg and a banana and all these faces and mustache. We have dots, toast, cherries, etc. A birthday hat. Anyway, thanks a bunch. Peel better soon. It's super cute. So you always get an exclusive stamp set that is not sold anywhere else. You get your accessories and ribbon if needed, and adhesive. So those are Stampin' Dimensionals to use on your projects. These are glue dots, so you don't need adhesive. Again, you can buy this for a new crafter, a niece, nephew, grandchild, child, etc. And you get whatever it takes to make the projects, which in this case is a bunch of die cut pieces. Oh, look. And of course, if it's cards, your card bases and envelopes. Really cute card bases this time. So cute. So next month's will be cards. Sign up or go to my website and purchase it. There's a subscription link or a purchase link in the video by January 10th. And the cards are going to be heart-shaped, as you can kind of see in this picture here. And they're a trifold. You can see that in the video. We do get a sneak peek of one stamp that's an XO. Anyway, any questions on that, let me know. Let me check these comments. Hey, Linda in Idaho. Good to see you. Good morning, good morning. Okay. Those instructions, let me put them back in the box because I will be very confused. But let's look at those cards again. Aren't they cute? I think they're cuter than a lot of people thought they were going to be when they heard puns. So anyway, I do have one extra box of that if you need it. Reminder about Daffodil Daydream card class with games online. That's happening in March, so mark your calendars. The link is in all the emails I've been sending out lately about classes, so you can register now, but you have a while to register by February 27th. And we'll play games on Zoom for our door prizes, as well as make at least 4 projects using the Daffodil Daydream bundle. Okay, Paper Pumpkin, I did that. Next up, specials. So today is December 30th. Tomorrow is the last day for my monthly online ordering special. And then I also have another special. So it might be a little confusing, but I'll talk about online ordering, then we'll go to this one. They are separate, not related to each other. Okay, so in December, if you place an online order of $25 or more, I'm going to mail you the kit to make these 4 cards. Again, we cut, die cut, punch, score, use stamp, and assemble with the summer, I get the names mixed up, shaded summer stamp set. And you don't have to have these dies to complete it. You can hand cut out your flower images if needed. These 2. But if you get the dies, you can die cut them out. Okay, so you get the kit, $25, with the host code that you see right here on this screen, YQJU, etc., etc. Let me show you how to put the host code in. You just go, when you're ordering, go to the online store. Right above, when you click the, what's it called? The little cart in the top right-hand corner, a little shopping bag with a heart on it. You'll see the word checkout on the right, and above that, you'll see add host code. Of course, you want to make sure you also see shopping with Jennifer Cotton. So that's how you enter this code that you see right here. Right there. $25 host code, you get this kit. $50 or more, you get the kit plus a full free pack of, elegant faceted gems, a full pack of those. Now, if you go to 150 or more, and by the way, I want to remind everybody to get what you want out of this catalog before it goes away, January 3rd. That's your last day to order from this book, so you can take advantage of my special with that. 150 or more, you get all of that plus these retired Summer Shadows dies for free. They cut out the images from the stamp set plus all these extra flowers and leaves. Okay, any questions, let me know. Now, separately, you might prefer this special. It is free shipping. This is my Christmas gift to you. Therefore, it's a separate offer, and I've had people take advantage of both recently. Some prefer free shipping. Some prefer the free class kit. Free shipping, because I'm discounting your order, basically, you have to email or text me your order, and I have to get your credit card info from you, even if I have it on file, because it gets entered a different way. So this expires January 1st. Free shipping on any order amount. So contact me for any of that stuff. All right. Are y'all ready to stamp? Let's see what Linda said. Saving to rewatch. It's breakfast time and being cold outside. Hubby wants oats. But watch while fixing. Thank you, Linda. Very nice. Hey, Julie. Good morning. Hey, Shirley. Good morning. Linda says, I did get 7 cards made from this month's Paper Pumpkin to send out. Not really crazy with stamps, though. Yep, we're all, we all have different tastes, of course, so totally get that. All right, let me check my notes. I think I'm good. I think we're ready to stamp. I want to remind you, you can still comment on the video if you just came on, or if you are watching the recording on YouTube or Facebook, you will get entered to win the 3 cards I'm going to make today. And then I also want to remind you that these 3 cards are the 3 of the 4 of my Stamp-A-Stack for January 2022. I'm using the Blessings of Home bundle. Where did I put my catalog? It's in the new catalog on page, let's see, 49 or 59. I was working with multiple things yesterday. 59. Of course, I can't show you the inside of this gorgeous book yet. By the way, if you don't have a copy, let me know. But there's actually 2 bundles on this page. We're only using one. And it's also has on this page the Hive embossing folder. And then, I'm not showing everything on this page, but when you do my Stamp a Stack class or join the club, it's only $30. You get 12 cards, 4 designs, 3 of each, and then you get $20 in merchandise. So this time, unless I have to change it because of supply, stuff selling out, you get half a pack of the Heart and Home designer paper. You get a full pack of the cotton ribbon combo. I need to find my notes, make sure I say this right. You get a half a pack of the Heart and Home doilies. And this is basically the half a pack minus the ones I used for the cards I made. Where's my note? And then a half a pack of the classic matte dots. Cotton ribbon full. Yep. So that is over $20 value because of tax and shipping. You're going to get all that, and then you'll use part of it to make your projects, and you'll get to keep all the leftovers for yourself. Okay, so Heart and Home is gorgeous. Every back side is some type of gray wood grain. So it's basic gray and white wood grain images, but they're all different. And then like floral or basically floral images on the other side, except for this one blue one that is just a really pretty pattern that it's almost like a fancy tile pattern, like that you would see printed on a tile, I should say. The colors are Pale Papaya, Misty Moonlight, Fresh Freesia, Cinnamon Cider, Basic Gray, Garden Green, and White. So, any questions about my class, let me know. You can join the club now. The link for the class will come out because you can take it individually. That link will come out by January 1st. I just haven't had time to set it up yet. Okay, so for my first card that I'm going to make, this is one of your Stamp a Stack cards this month, we will have a basic white card base. I'm going to grab a drink of water real quick. Kind of feeling yucky right now. Anyway, this is kind of how your class packet will be, but remember you cut your own designer paper, so that will be half of a pack, and you'll cut this piece out. And you'll have half a pack of doilies, so that'll be over there, but we'll cut everything else. But for 3 cards. Always get that math backwards. 4 designs, 3 of each, so we'll cut you 3 cards worth. Okay, so a card base is a half a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So it's 5.5 by 8.5. And you're going to fold it in half with the bone folder. You'll also get clear envelopes with this class. I just didn't pull any for my demonstration, but you receive a clear envelope for every card. So fold that in half with the bone folder and then set it aside. This will be a portrait shape card. And then next, I need to find my actual card sample to look at. This piece of cinnamon cider is just to mat my designer paper, which again you'll cut, but this is the one on the back is cinnamon cider with bees. So the coordinating stamp set has bees in it. And then it's bees and flowers on cinnamon cider. But the side we're using is the diagonal thin planks of wood grain. This is my favorite design from the pack. And so it's 3 by 4. So this cinnamon cider that we'll cut for you is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. So that is just to attach that to. Then what we're going to stamp on is our Misty Moonlight 4 by 5 1/4. A pre-die cut layering circle, framelit, or dies, I should say, of basic white circle. I'll measure that in a second. And then a 1/2 inch strip of basic white. It's 1/2 by 3 1/4. This circle is the 2 1/8 inch circle. And that I chose that size to go on top of the doily. Okay, so now let me stamp. I haven't fully put together my class tub for this class due to I have so many other events going on right now. A lot of my stuff is in different places. But this is an example of how the tub will be if you check that out in person. Anyway, so just, it's not full. But what I want to say is these stamps are not going to be on a block this giant. I ran out because I have things mounted for upcoming events like the new catalog kickoff. Sign up for that. So it doesn't really matter, but I have smaller blocks the next size down that these will fit on. I just don't have any available. So these two large flowers I have on these giant block F for today. Anyway, but I have a silicone craft sheet in here. I have all the ink pads I'll need for all 4 cards. I think we're not going to use cinnamon cider today. That's for the 4th card. I'm making 3 of them. So you'll need cinnamon cider, Misty Moonlight, Basic Gray, and Memento Black if you take this class at home without my supplies. And then I have more stamps down here that we'll be using. Okay, so this card is that big one, and let me see. It says, have a perfect birthday. So see how I've labeled it with Misty? That's for the in-person class, so they'll know what color to use. Okay, so I need a piece of scratch paper. I'm going to fold this in half. I'm still using this one that I received at On Stage because it's so pretty. And what I want to do first is stamp in Misty Moonlight this flower, so what this image is it's a large floral image, very large. Let's measure it. It's like 4 1/4 by 3 inches, and it's hand drawn. So again, I don't always know all the flower names, but there's like a daisy type. I know that's not a daisy, but it's got a big center and then the petals. But then it has smaller flowers and larger and medium and leaves. Really pretty. This card, we're not coloring it in. We will color it in on one of the cards for class. So I'm going to ink it up in Misty Moonlight and stamp in the top right hand corner. So I'm kind of turning it upside down so that the larger flower will be on the top right hand corner. I'm hanging the smaller ones off the edge. That's why I have scratch paper under there. And it's just going to be a background here because this big cinnamon cider and wood grain will go in the middle. And then repeat that on the bottom right hand corner. And let me see how I did it on mine. Yeah, it's so same direction. So flip it around, basically. Do the same thing, opposite. And my table is nice and firm, so I don't need to do anything weird. I just stamp it like normal. If you don't have a very firm table, you can put the Stampin' Pierce mat under it. Okay, and then for the circle, I want what do I want? Look at this again. I thought I did it different. Excuse me. I have a portion of this. If you look at the front, there's a really large flower, and then to the left, sort of diagonal of it, is left lower, I should say, is a smaller version. That's kind of the one I want to be on this card. So I'm going to ink this up upside down. Just tap the ink pad all over. And then I'm going to place the circle so that that flower gets inked. But it's a one-time thing. You can't shift it around because you're going to smear ink. So I just figured out where I wanted it and kind of dropped it. And now I'm going to put scratch paper on top. The stamp is upside down. And just rub to transfer that ink. And then very carefully pick it up all in one movement. Whatever portion you get will be fine. This is a little different than my other sample. That looks really cute though. So that is also because we're going to die cut this circle for you, so you won't be able to die cut after. But at home, if you have your own white, you could stamp on a larger piece and then position the die where you want and die cut that out. And then have a perfect birthday is a long, skinny greeting. So that goes on this 1/2-inch strip. Catch up on these comments. Hey Sue, thanks for sharing to a group of friends. That's a little crooked, but it's okay. Tommy, good morning. Good to see you. Link isn't working for bingo. Uh-oh. Yes, no problem, Terry. I'm trying to think where you got the link from. Probably, I think it was wrong in one email I sent out to you guys separately. G-Ann, you're welcome. Thanks for sharing, Shirley. Hey, Lorraine, good morning. And who else did I see? Oh, Joni. Good morning, Joni. Okay, so everything's stamped for this card. Some of y'all just came on. These are the cards we'll be making in my Stamp-A-Stack class this month, but you'll make 12 cards. Where's my lid? I don't know where my lid is, but anyway, I'm going to use Stampin' Seal. You will make 12 cards, 4 designs, 3 of each. Okay, so I'm going to use Stampin' Seal and attach the circle flat to the doily, which, by the way, these doilies, they come in 3 colors. You're getting half a pack with the class. It's Cinnamon Cider, Basic Gray, and Misty Moonlight, and they're white on the other side, so you can use it white or color it. And I almost did that on this class, but then I didn't, so whatever. Okay, so I attached the circle flat. Let me go ahead and attach my 4 by 5 1/4 Misty Moonlight to the card base. So that measurement gives me an 1/8-inch border all the way around. And then now I'm going to attach the 3 by 4 designer paper to the 3 1/8 by 4 1/8 Cinnamon Cider. So this is a 16th-inch border. This is a very sticky adhesive. Be careful. I'm going to flip that card over so I can have a lighter background. So I'm trying to see that I'm getting my border the same on all 4 sides. And the way I normally do that is how I'm holding the paper where my fingers block it from fully sticking to the card. I think I got it okay there though. So there's that. And then this will go flat, this rectangle will go flat onto the front of my card, right in the center. So it covers up the middle if your flowers happen to overlap or anything like that. The only thing that shows where we stamp those flowers on the Misty Moonlight ink, I don't know if I said that, is just the edges. So there's that. Then we have our doily. So we're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals, of course, for this. So I'll use my minis like always. I'm going to put about 4 on here, of course, in the white section, not the doily cutout section. And I'm going to place this just I don't know, it is a little, I'm going to make this one more extreme toward the top than my first one because I wanted it a little higher just for no reason really, but it's just a little higher just for design purposes. But I wasn't too great at that on the first card. Anyway, and then Have a Perfect Birthday, I will use 3 Stampin' Dimensionals, but I'll put the 2 outer ones not all the way to the edge because I'm going to place it across this doily, if that makes sense. So that I'll make sure they kind of stick to the doily instead of floating out here on nothing. So 3 dimensionals on Have a Perfect Birthday. I'm not doing good picking up my dimensional backs today. And this will not, I started to put it, across the center, which probably would look good, but I put it almost to the bottom of the white circle, but not quite, about a 1/2 inch or so pokes out of the bottom there. So Have a Perfect Birthday. Then to finish this card off, I'm going to use some of my classic matte dots. You're getting half a pack with your class fee, and some of this cotton ribbon combo pack, which is Petal Pink and Misty Moonlight. So when I made these cards yesterday was the first time I used this ribbon, first time I touched it. It's deceptively soft. It's so soft. It's called cotton ribbon. So I guess maybe I should have gotten a clue. And this one and this one here, which we're not using today, but I use this on the cruise. They remind me of clothing so much. Like, this is a warm, fuzzy sweater. Just trust me, when you work with it, you tie it in a knot, you're going to think it's like, this could be a scarf for sure. It's so warm and fuzzy. And then this one just feels like clothing to me, the cotton one. Anyway, probably like, okay, who cares? So you're going to get a full pack of this. So I would leave it attached to the roll and tie my bow from the roll. And how you do that is or how I do that, you may do it different, and that's fine, is I have 2 bunny ears, one in each hand. On my left side here, I have the tail that's loose. Then I have a huge space in between the 2 bunny ears, much larger than you think you need, and then a bunny ear in my right hand. And all the ribbon is flat, flat, flat. You notice there's no twists and turns like that. Go back. That is what gives you a pretty bow. And then you take your right hand, cross it over the left, push that right one down into the rabbit hole, and then pull. And of course, then you need to adjust your bow by pulling the tails, pulling the loops, whatever needs to be done to make it look pretty, which is what I'm doing right now. Okay, and then I will trim the other end. The whole purpose of doing it this way is no waste on the one side. So you have a lot more ribbon left over than if you pre-cut it. And then I'll use a mini glue dot to attach the bow. So just peel back the protective coating, reveal one dot, kind of fold your paper down there, press the dot, or press the embellishment into the dot, pull it off, and I'm putting this bow down at the bottom right of the circle, right below the greeting. And then on these dots here, when you buy the classic matte dots, these are all from the new catalog, all this product, they come in black, gray, vanilla, and white, which is awesome. And then you have a row of large and 2 rows of small of each one. So what I've already done, but I'll do one for a demonstration now, but I pre-colored the vanilla in Misty Moonlight. The reason I chose vanilla, I could have colored white, with the Stampin' Blend, which is an alcohol marker. The reason I did the vanilla is because we're using the white on another card, and you're getting half a pack, so to make sure you have enough, we're using gray, white, and vanilla, no black. To make sure you have enough, color the vanilla ones. So I just take the fine point of my Stampin' Blend and color, and I almost always use the dark of the 2 blends to color embellishments. You can color anything plastic, glass, metal. If it'll take the color good, you're good to go. Anyway, you kind of need to do a few layers there to make it nice and dark, especially depending on the color. We only need a large and 2 small per card, but that one was a demonstration. Okay, so I'm going to use the take your pick tool, the pointy end, and I'll grab this large dot and place it down here in the bottom right hand corner on the designer paper, and then the 2 smalls up here in the top right. Looks weird. I'm getting an illusion. I don't know. Yeah, it's like upside down. What's happening? That looks strange. I'm going to color the sides of this. It looks weird. I don't know if that one's misshapen. You probably can't see it on the video, but it looks kind of weird. Hold still. Hold still. Let me just use the other one. I think that one's kind of flat on top. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay. Who knows? I might have had a little defect there. Or I'm defective. Who knows? Okay, so there is the first card. It's a nice little birthday card. Super pretty, fancy, whatever we want to call it. You're going to make 3 if you take the class. You also can win one of each of these 3 cards today if you... Hey, Linda, no problem. if you happen to win from commenting or sharing the video. Hey, Margie and Jerry, I did have a Merry Christmas. I hope you did too. Thank you very much. Linda shared. Thank you very much. Thank you, Linda. She said, love the stamping technique hints. Thanks, Jackie. Awesome. So that is card 1 of Stamp-A-Stack for win today. Let me grab my supplies for the next one. We are coloring on 2 of the cards, so I do have lots of blends here. But I want to say you can also sponge the colors onto your card flowers with your sponge daubers and ink from your ink pads, or you can stamp and stays on and watercolor or color pencils, anything you want. But I, of course, love Stampin' Blends to color with. They're alcohol markers and they're really easy to use. But if you're taking this at home, I am using several colors, so just be aware. I provide them for in-person or if you check out my supplies. So this card is, the card base is Pale Papaya. So move that for now. Pale Papaya, 5.5, 8.5. And we're going to fold it in half, of course, with the bone folder. And then we're going to do Jennifer's favorite fun fold. Fold that back, the front part, all the way back. This is a portrait shaped card. To the left-hand side. My throat is not clear today. And use your bone folder to fold that down. So, simple, easy fold. No extra cutting, just fold it back. And then you guys will cut your own designer paper, don't forget. So for this one, I'm using this pattern with these delicate little 2 different types of flowers. And one type is the flower buds are fresh freesia, and the other, the flowers are Pale Papaya. So it's 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and that fits perfectly on that little flap on your left side after you fold it back. Then we will cut for you the basic white to go on the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. A scrap of basic white for the flower, and then we're going to pre-die cut for you. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the stitched rectangle dies. Let me grab my ruler. We'll pre-die cut. This one is basically 2 1/4 by 3 5/8 die from stitched rectangles, which are these dies here. It's this one here. One of mine is missing because it's out for another event that we're prepping for. But you get a total of 13 stitched rectangles when you buy these dies. And they're either low inventory or temporarily not available, but they will be back. Don't worry. They're very popular. So we'll die cut that, and then we'll emboss it with the Hive embossing folder. And these are really small, close-knit, like a honey hive, honeybee, honeycomb, image. But if you look at it closely, they are not all perfectly the same, which I like. So there's different, some are just the what is that, a hexagon shape, and some sort of have a little dent in them, basically. So it's not just a perfectly even image there. Okay, let me do my stamping. So we're going to use that other flower. So there's basically in this stamp set 2 flower images and then a bunch of greetings. And the greetings are, thank you for inspiring me, have a perfect birthday, we can get through anything together, what a beautiful day for love, and you are a real blessing to everyone around you. That's the one we're using on this card, and partly because it's tall and not super skinny, but tall and skinny, the rest are more landscape. So that's going to fit perfectly on this card. So this one will be stamped because we're coloring in with blends. I'm using the Memento black ink, And again, mine will be mounted on a smaller clear block so you can ink it up normal. But this block is so big. I'm going to lay the stamp upside down and tap the pad on it. Memento black. And then just stamp that flower on your scratch piece of white. It's here. Jewel, thanks for sharing. Hey, Mary Ellen, thank you. Thanks, Pat. Good to see you. Thanks, Jeanne. Thanks, Lorraine. Okay, so stamped in Memento Black. This one is more of, it's a single stem with 2 large and then a grouping of small flowers and a bunch of leaves. So it's, it could be more like a bouquet or coming out of a vase or something, or just stand alone like we're using it right now. The image I'm trying to describe. Anyway, this will get die cut out, or you can hand cut it out if you don't own the dies. But the colors I'm using to color it in: freesia, fresh freesia, pale papaya, just jade, and crumb cake. So it doesn't really matter what I start with. I will grab my freesia first. I'm gonna grab my readers because it's right here. So I colored these 2 large flowers at the top with fresh freesia. So I'll do dark first on, and I didn't pre-color these because of time. I just didn't have time. On the detail portion of the flower, and then I go over the whole flower petal, including that dark part, with my light fresh freesia. I thought that was dark, so I had to flip it around and make sure I was correct. And I've been sitting here on this, my blend storage, so I want to show y'all this real quick. I know I showed it last week, in case anyone missed it. I purchased this new storage thing that's really for paper from Amazon. So you can go to stamптherapist.com, my website, and click on like Amazon links at the top if you want to see this product. But it's a paper storage thing that I got to keep my blends in because I do this as a business, and I have multiple colors of, multiple blends of every color. And so this is a much simpler way for me to find, okay, we're using petal pink in this class. Let me pull out all my petal pink because I have multiple people coming, and I also need a backup in case it dries out, because alcohol markers can dry out. So I have 8 of these. They come in packs of 4, and 7 of them are full, plus the ones I have in my storage thing that's behind me when the camera's pointing at my face. So they come in packs of 4. They're like $20-something. And I'm just sharing that because I think it's a good tip for anyone who is looking for a storage solution for your Stampin' Blends. I know there's tons of different solutions out there, and I'm not saying anything wrong with those. This just works for my situation. Because I had them in a tub before, and I would have to literally take out a handful, search for the colors I need, set that aside, take out a handful, search for the colors I need, set that aside. And this one I can just look through the top there. And I do, of course, use my label maker, because that tiny handwriting takes me forever to focus in on that. Not handwriting, the tiny print. And that label maker is on the Amazon store as well. So if you need any of that, that's where it is. Okay, so those 2 are in freesia. Make sure when you're coloring with Stampin' Blends, you put the lid back on immediately when you're finished. Now I'm using pale papaya, and I'm adding dark to the little detail sections of the small flowers. Lid back on, and then I'll add the light all over. So basically just finish and fill in the entire small flower. Of course, you can get a lot more detail than me. As always, you can go back and add more dark, add more light, use your color lifter and pick up, lighten up areas. You can layer different colors. You don't have to stick with pale papaya on pale papaya. You can mix and match your colors and layer them. It can get really pretty and detailed. I'm just not good at that. I'm going to take dark crumb cake for these flower centers and these dark sections. Like detail sections. on the large two, and then light crumb cake over the whole thing. And of course, this is the blending part when you're adding the light, and you can do it reverse also. But when you mix them together like this, it literally blends out that harsh line of the dark, but it still gives you that darker area on your project. So it just looks really artistic, even if you're not. And then I'll just do light in the centers. I almost always use the fine point, but there is a brush tip as well. Doesn't matter which one you use, whatever works for you and or your project. And last but not least, just jade. On these leaves, I do small sections at a time, by the way, because when the alcohol ink dries, it doesn't blend as well. So work with just a few areas at a time. But anyway, the Just Jade, we don't sell this. In this designer paper is garden green, and we don't sell a garden green Stampin' Blend. We do need that color Stampin' Up, please. We really need garden green, because none of these colors that we do sell Stampin' Blends in really match garden green to me. But I tried shaded spruce, and that was like horrible as a match. And then I tried old olive. That didn't work. I was like, well, let me just try this Just Jade. And it's still not a perfect match, but it was the closest. And I think it looks fine. But for me, Just Jade was the best match. And again, you could just use your ink pads. I don't even know if I added dark to this one. Your ink pads with the aqua painter, that's not what we call it anymore, the water painter, and watercolor. Just stamp with stays on instead, and then you have an exact match right away because you're using the same ink. This is the light. I just used the light on the stems, no dark. It's very thin, so you have to be careful. I've mentioned this on a video before that for me, I don't find that my blends bleed outside of the lines when I color with them. I've heard people say that, but I've never seen it. I mean, unless I mess up. So I go right up to the art line, basically, when I'm coloring. I can't see y'all's comments right now, so I don't know. My face is down into this coloring. But if you're commenting, thank you. If you just came on, say hi, so you can get entered to win these 3 cards. And if you just came on, you may not know that these are 3 of the 4 Stamp-A-Stack cards for January 2022. Whew, okay, so I got that one colored in. Take all those blends away. Now I'm going to die cut it out real quick. Grab my die cut machine, Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Ooh. All my notes just went on the floor. You can, let me turn the camera a little. There's a crank here that you turn, and it can go either direction. I'm just turning to get this out. But I could have turned it and started it over here. And then these dies come with the bundle, which you can always add on the bundles when you register for my events, by the way, if you need them and want to. You don't have to. Anyway, it has the 2 dies, of course, that cut out the 2 floral images. Pick my stuff up. Part of that fell was my catalog. And I'm going to grab some tape over here. I wouldn't normally use this. This is the Post-it tape. It's also in the Amazon store. But I'm far away from this, so it's hard to see to align it. But hopefully I will get it kind of close enough. And then that'll hold it down, because again, I can't see if it shifts. Oops. It's all your instructions come with your machine. It's only $125, and you can get it with the starter kit. And I mean, it's $120. The kit you get $125. It's $120. It comes with everything you need, including all the parts I'm using to emboss and die cut. But my tip is use one of your clear plates these are number 3. Mine are not numbered, but they're number 3. One of them never cut on it and only cut on the second one. So this, well, both of them can be flipped. Like I could cut on this side, flip it over if I want, and I can flip this way or this way, but I would never put this one on bottom. That helps keep your plates flat. And you don't want to put this on the top because it presses all that old paper into your image. And we do not like that. And then see how I'm just cranking it? Again, it can go the other direction too. You only need to crank it through one time. Carefully peel that tape off. Make sure you take a toothpick or take your pick tool and poke out the paper that's stuck in the die. And look. It's gorgeous. You can hand cut this out though if you don't have that machine. Let me grab my toothpick here. I'm just going to poke that out before I put this away because I will not check it next time. And if that's in there, then another piece will get jammed in and another, and eventually it's not going to cut right there. So always clean your dies out immediately when you're die cutting. Okay. We're almost ready to assemble. For the stamping, oh, actually, yeah, I remember what I did. Okay, so my greeting is going to go down in the bottom right-hand corner of this 4 by 5 1/4 basic white. Remember, it's portrait. In basic gray ink. That is a color from this designer paper. And hopefully I won't stamp this crooked, but if I do, I get to flip it over and try again. That did happen on my first card. The best tip on that is to grab your scratch paper, which of course I buried mine here, because if you buy the Stampin' Up! Grid paper, that's your scratch paper, grid paper, it has these grid lines on it, so you can test on your grid lines. So what I do is I make sure the clear block is aligned perfectly straight with the grid lines, and I stamp and I see if it's straight. Now, if you can see that, it's not. It's at the tiniest bit tipped to the right. So then you can either adjust your stamp on here, or when you stamp on your real project, you adjust it the tiniest bit to the left, a fraction. So I'm going to align this straight, and then I'm going to go that fraction to the left and stamp. And it's still a little crooked, but you get the point. I mean, it looks totally fine, but if I weren't on video, it might have been straighter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attach this into the center of my card base. Because for the Z fold cards, this part shows on the front, so it's the inside but also the outside. And then my flower is going to go on my, oh, actually, let me attach this designer paper first. Sorry, I'm getting confused. When you cut this paper for the class, I think the flowers they kind of go up, so it might look funny if you cut it one direction. Can't remember now for sure, but just check the direction always when you're cutting your designer paper. So I'm attaching the 1 7/8 by 5 1/4 designer paper on the left there. And then let me go ahead and put these flowers with Stampin' Dimensionals on the Hive embossed piece. I'll just do 3 dimensionals there, kind of a triangle, mini dimensionals, which are also the Hive shape, by the way. And the flower, this one can definitely stand straight up, but I tilted it at the top to the right. So what I want to do now is figure out where I want to position this. Normally for these kind of cards, I center it in the middle and top to bottom, but that covers up part of my greeting. So I'm going to shift it over up higher and more to the left so that that greeting is exposed properly. And then the question is, where do I put my adhesive on the back of this so that it does not extend on this right side and close my card shut? So how I do that is I just flip this exactly upside down. Again, position it where I'm going to want it. And now I can see, I'm going to use dimensionals, where to place my dimensionals so that they're not going to hang over that right edge. There's like a black hair, but I don't even think it's a hair. I think it's like from some kind of tool in here, a brush or something, because it doesn't look like a hair. Anyway, so 6 dimensionals on that left side. Hopefully you understand what I mean about positioning that. I don't really need to hold it in place anymore. So that goes over here. Again, same place. So as you can see, it's more toward the left and higher than normal, and no adhesive on the inside. And then to finish this one off, we're just going to use some of our white matte decorative dots. I'll use the Take Your Pick tool again, that blue one that I didn't use. It's floating around. Oh gosh, it's floating around on this sheet. Anyway, I'm going to use one large white down here on the bottom right of the hive piece, and then a couple of small ones up on the top left of the hive piece. That is the finished card. Hope you guys like it. I love these colors. So pretty. So you'll be making 3 if you take the class or join the club. Where's my second one? Right here. There's 2, but you'll make 3, 12 cards total. There's that one. Yay. Whew. Let me look at your comments. Thank you, Cindy. Hey, Kathy, good morning. Thanks for sharing, by the way, also, Cindy. Hey, Terry, good morning. Thank you, Jennifer. Very nice. I got a lot of stuff on this in the screen today. Oh, and I forgot to fix it from when I moved the camera for the die cut machine. Okay, so that's your second one. And then the last one I'm making, but I'll give you a sneak peek of your 4th card. This is my favorite one. So this one, we are going to use blends again, different color blends, except we'll bring back the crumb cake. I'll tell you those at the time. And we're going to use some Wink of Stella. What else? Okay, so let me just get started. So as a reminder, you will cut your own designer paper, but it's 4 by 5 1/4. This is another really cute pattern. I think this looks more, well, it definitely can be wood grain, but it kind of also looks like a stone, like slate or something. But these are very different size little slats. If anyone knows what kind of wood this is called, let me know. Again, it's on white and the wood outline is gray. But they would just be really skinny pieces of wood, all different sizes. I don't know what that pattern's called. On the back is really pretty. It's fresh freesia with white flowers on it, little bitty, delicate, all over solid flowers. But we're using the wood side. Okay, then our card base is basic gray, 5 1/2, 8 1/2, and I'll fold that in half with the bone folder. So because it's a dark color, you will need a light color on the inside. Of course, you could use a gel, like a white gel pen, but in case you don't have that, we'll supply the white piece to go inside. And I did already, because I always forget to do that on videos, pre-stamp the inside piece there. But I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, so the front is 4 by 5 1/4 designer paper that you'll cut. Another portrait shaped card. And then this is just where I measured it. I have a 3 1/2 by 4 3/4 piece of white to stamp my flowers on and die cut them out. And then I have a petal pink piece that has been die cut out for you with the stitched rectangle dies. So this is a larger one than the last stitch rectangle. It is about, sometimes these are weird measurements. It's 3 inches by a little more than 4 1/4. But we'll die cut that for you. Then again, from your packet, you'll take one of your gray doilies. And then the last piece of white is also pre-die cut from the stitched rectangles, and that is for the greeting. So it's 1 inch by 2 3/8. Okay. So this one is for Linda. On this one, we're stamping, well, basically you would stamp on these 3 pieces, the inside piece, the scrap white, and the greeting piece. And because we're going to color the flowers in with Stampin' Blends, we want to stamp in Memento black ink. So this could be confusing in person, but I'm going to have multiple stamps. I'm borrowing Landa's. And there'll be 2 of these stamps, one for gray and one for not gray, one for Misty for that one card and one for Memento. What also could be confusing is you might think the inside is stamped in gray, but it is not. Now, when you're doing this at home, using your own stuff, you can clean your stamps and change whatever colors you want. But when you're in my in-person classes and you're using my stuff, everybody needs to use the same color so that my ink pads don't get messed up. So black on the inside, black on the outside. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm cleaning off the ink from the previous card with my Simply Chamois. $8. Get it wet, squeeze it out, squeeze out the water, clean your stamps. You can also clean them just by scrubbing them on the pad. And then when it gets too much ink in it, rinse it out. It'll be all stained. Just make sure the water's running clear. Use it again over and over. And these cases are sold separately. If you want them, you don't have to have it, but just make sure you do not airtight seal it because it will get moldy if it's wet. Okay. And the other card that I'm not making today also is going to use that smaller flower in a different color. So I'll have 2 stamps for that for my in-person as well. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up in Memento Black. I'm just doing it upside down because the block is so big. But I'll stamp it like normal. This is just a scrap, so it doesn't have to be positioned a certain way. You just keep it within the paper. So pretty. This is the big flower from the first card, same image. And then I'm going to, my greeting is basic gray. Hopefully no one's going to get confused. Just think I'm coloring it with blend, so it's Memento, not coloring it at basic gray. They are very similar when you put them side by side like this, so they look fine together. This card says, "Thank you for inspiring me." Let me grab my sand eraser. Hold on. Sometimes if your plate on your die cut machine is dirty, the top one, it'll get some marks on your cardstock. So that might be what happened here. But usually you can erase those with a sand eraser, which, by the way, if you ever order the adhesive kit from me when you're taking a class, you can add it on. It comes with a sand eraser. It's sort of like sandpaper, but not near as strong as sandpaper. And it erases little smudges and stuff. Okay, stamp the greeting. Hopefully this will be straight, but remember how you can test it on your grid paper to make sure everything's aligned straight. Okay, now I get to color. So I saw a sample on, I did not color the inside, by the way. So that's just Memento Black again. It's either the same color, stamped at an angle, bottom right-hand corner to go inside. I saw a sample on Pinterest. I was like, that is genius. Where they left some of the flowers white. Once you color everything around it, it looks on purpose like the flowers are supposed to be white. So that is definitely what we're going to do here to save us time on coloring. Plus it looks really pretty. I'm over here looking for my readers so I can I'm gonna move that camera down a little. so I can see better. Okay, so let me do, I think I'll do Petal Pink first. So I'm using Petal Pink, just like before. I'll add dark where the shadows are from Stampin' Up. And then I'll go over everything with light. I'm coloring the smaller flowers toward the top in Petal Pink. These two larger flowers are not going to get colored. The petals are not. So they'll be white. You can really make any of the flowers you want to be white. That way you don't have to color as much. Haha. And I probably, let me try the brush tip. I don't control the brush tip as well. Maybe that's why people go outside the lines. I just thought about that. Because the ink does not bleed outside the lines for me, but sometimes I make this tip physically go outside the lines. That's why I use the fine tip more, because I can control it easier. Anyway, but my point was to go faster on video. I could use the larger tip. I'm just scared to use it for fear of going outside of the lines on these smaller images. I think I showed y'all before. I mean, I said it, but I didn't show it. That those go, what's the word? Bleed through the backside. Okay, actually, those are the only flowers I colored in. 3 at the top. I left every other flower white. I do see a sort of mistake I made, so I'll correct that in a sec. So there's my flowers. Now we're going to go crumb cake for the centers. So I will do dark on the more deep, these little details that Stampin' Up put in the large flower centers, which there's 2 of. Ooh. And then go over that with light crumb cake. And I want to go over the dark and really just keep swirling over it to blend it out and smooth it out, but it still gives you the shadow. And of course, like I said, remember you can go back. You can layer and layer and layer, and it never breaks down your paper because it's alcohol. But because it's alcohol, it's also why it can dry out really fast because it evaporates. So that's where you want to put the lid back on as soon as you're done. I don't know if my head's in the screen, but it's hard to make out those details far away. Okay, so I'm also going to color in the centers of all the other flowers with this light. These 3 up here I missed on my first card, on my original, which it's photographed that way now. So if you take the class, take note, color those in. So just all the other flower centers are like crumb cake. And then the leaves, these are Old Olive because I'm using Petal Pink. Old Olive matched better to me than the Just Jade on the other card. So just like I did the leaves on the other card I colored in, I'll add dark and then go over with light. And if they're really tiny leaves or whatever image, you can decide if you want to add the dark or not. Sometimes it's just too small to bother with that. It's up to you. I'm really having to concentrate to see where is a leaf versus nothing versus a flower today. Kind of, I don't know, I don't feel great this morning. Like once I started the video for some reason. But I will eat as soon as it's done, and hopefully that'll be good because my team meeting is Saturday. We're doing it on Zoom this month. So I have a lot of prep to do for that. So hopefully I'll feel fine later today. All right. Running out of things to say while I color. Just a few more leaves down here. Normally I do try, if I think of it and, I'm smart and remember, I try to pre-color a full piece for these videos, but this time I knew I wasn't doing it and I knew I should, but it was a time thing. Excuse me. I'm really not sick, by the way, as far as I know. Maybe it's the weather change coming. So I don't remember if I finished that, but it's not going to be cold here today in Texas. It's going to be up in the 70s, but it was a little cooler this morning than it has been lately. But then by Saturday night, I think it's going to freeze. And it'll be like in the 20s and 30s on Saturday. I mean on Sunday. Then next week we're back in the 70s. This weather pretty much is annoying to me. I'm wearing shorts today. I've been wearing shorts all day. All week. And next week, or this weekend, I'll get to wear jeans again. And back to shorts next week. So there's no putting away of seasonal clothes around here. I know somebody said it was really chilly where they were this morning. I don't know about everyone else. Of course, on like the shows that are in New York, they're all talking about how cold it is. Okay, I think I colored it all. I may have missed a leaf. I don't think I did, but sometimes when you're doing this, you miss a leaf. Okay, I'm going to die cut this out. You've already seen me do that on screen, so I will just do it off screen just to save you a minute here. Of course, this image that was loud, will align perfectly, and I'll tape it down just to be sure. So I'll go over here to the machine, and I'm going to reuse that same piece of tape. You can reuse these many times. It doesn't get unsticky as fast like a sticky note does. Sometimes a sticky note only lasts through one cutting. These definitely, you have longer. There's the die over there. See. Okay, so there we go. Now I'll add the Wink of Stella. Don't add that before you die cut because it might not be dry. And you don't want to get that all over your plates or your friends' plates or whatever. So all I added Wink of Stella to is these large 2 flowers only. They need to be special and stand out. Once you have your Wink of Stella started, which by the way, I've had several people comment on this lately in person, that they don't know you have to remove this black ring from your Wink of Stella. So this is a new one I'm going to actually open for the class. Let me show you. When you get a Wink of Stella, I guess it doesn't matter if you take the lid off, but anyway, you unscrew the bottom, you remove this black ring. This is like a thing to keep it from piercing. So there's, of course, something that's got to be at least a little bit sharp in there so that when I close this back and screw these 2 top and bottom together, it gets pierced so that the liquid in the bottom can flow to the brush. But where it says push, and it says it on both sides, you have to do this multiple times until it starts flowing. But this is what you do not want to do. Squeeze, 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 until you see it flowing. So much is going to come through. So it's literally a few squeezes, let it rest, give it a shake, set it down, a few squeezes. So it is kind of a process to get this started. Now, once it's started, I never squeeze mine. I have do not squeeze written on here. It somehow just continuously flows once the stuff is coming through, which by the way, you can start to see it in the handle down here when it's flowing through. See how clean this brand new one is still? Got a one little dot, I think, right there. So just FYI, your Wink of Stella. I'm going to stick this in here so I remember I just opened it and it's not ready yet. Still needs lots of squeezing, lots of care. But that's like a one-time process. And then once it's, again, flowing, I very rarely have to squeeze mine. And I don't know if you can see that shine on the camera. I feel like you cannot, but it is so pretty and sparkly, and you can put it on top of any color, anything you want, designer paper, etc. The only thing is our, what are they called? Our regular ink pads are water based, so it can make that ink bleed. So be aware of that. Okay, now let's just put this card together. One more quick reminder that this is my Stamp-A-Stack for the month. You'll make 4 cards though, not 3, but 4 designs, 3 of each, 12 cards, $20 in merchandise. I want to take that class. The link will be coming out soon, but you can join the club now, and after 6 months in club you get $25 in free merchandise. Okay, so I'm just attaching the inside part, then I'll attach the designer paper to the front. And if you are local, you do not have to attend in person. You can check out the supplies from me. You pick them up off my porch and take them home for 23 hours and stamp at home. Okay, so I learned this when I made my first one, that the instructions, hopefully I'll remember this, should read, first attach this rectangle to the front with Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm just using 6 here. This is our petal pink rectangle, portrait style card. Because the next thing that goes on is the doily, but it's going to hang off the top right edge, and we need to know how far to hang it off so it's not on the hanging off the front of our card. So I'll put some adhesive on one half of the doily and just position it there so that it's not, it'll still fit in an envelope, in other words. It's not hanging off the edges of the card. Then my flowers that are so pretty, stamped and winked up. Robin, are you still here? That Wink of Stella is for you. I always think of Robin when I use Wink of Stella because she's, I think, self-admittedly obsessed with it. Most people are. For some reason, I'm not. Like, it's really pretty, but I don't use it very much. Okay, so the flowers go at an angle, bottom left to top right, right over that doily. It's such a perfect